Okay, story time. I'm in my acupuncture practice today. I've had a couple new clients. Inevitably, I always get the same question with new people. How did you get into acupuncture and Chinese medicine? And it's kind of a long story, but I love telling it to people because I always hope it gives them a little bit like, oh, I can do weird things, right, for my life that I trust for myself. So most people don't know that my undergrad is in art. So I got a Bachelor of Fine Arts. So I majored in photography and graphic design, which is worlds away from what I'm doing now because I thought I wanted to go into advertising because it was like so flashy. Thank God I didn't. I mean, I did it for a short period of time, hated it. But even my parents were like, side-eye, like art school? Are you kidding me? Like no parent wants their kids to go to art school, right? Because there's no money in it or whatever. But I did it anyway because deep down, I knew it was for me. I went to this tiny art college outside of Seattle. I loved it. I made the best friends. I had the best time. I really enjoyed making art and being creative, which years later, as an entrepreneur, you have to be creative about things, right? If you're owning your own business and running your own business, you have to be creative. But this was a few years, there was a little bit of a gap in between when I finished art school and when I found Chinese medicine. And once I found it, that was again a little bit of a side eye. Like you're going to go back to school as, I can't remember how old I was, like 27 or 28 or something. And people were like, Chinese medicine, is that a thing? Like, can you do that here without going to China? And I found a school. I quit the 3 jobs I was working at the time, and I went back to school for Chinese medicine for 4 years to get my master's degree. I spent 4 years with crippling anxiety and insomnia, but I spent 4 years getting my master's of science in Chinese medicine. So here I have my Bachelor of Fine Arts. Now I have a Master of Science, and I think Chinese medicine and acupuncture is just a marrying of those two things. So it was like anatomy, physiology, pathophysiology, like all of the Western stuff, but all of the Chinese medicine, all of the herbs, all of the acupuncture points, all of the theory behind it. And I loved it. And even though other people in my life didn't quite understand, especially for a time, my dad, who was a Western doctor, he was like, what are you even doing? I loved it. And it was something that I felt deep down that I had to do for me because I knew I would be able to give back to people once I completed my studies and was able to be out in the world. So all that to say, along that whole journey, like going to art school, choosing to go to art school, people were like, bleh. Moving across the country once I graduated art school to go move from Seattle to Chicago, like, what the hell, right? Going back to school full time in your late 20s for acupuncture and Chinese medicine. People were like, what? And then I went on to get my doctorate. And then I went on to do like my Reiki certifications and energy work and open up a business doing these things. It's not normal, right? But I knew it was normal for me. I knew that my path was going to be different. And that is one of the definitions of being sovereign, right? Knowing what's for you, loving yourself enough to be able to take those steps externally in the outside world, despite the challenge or despite some of the negative feedback that you get from caring family or friends, despite all of that. I fortunately have always been in tap with my intuition. I've always thought that what I needed, what I wanted, was important for me because that desire was not placed in my heart for no reason. There always is a reason. And that is something that I always try to share with my patients, whether they're my acupuncture patients or whether there's mentorship clients or people I'm working with different and teaching in different master classes. What is it that your heart wants? And are you sovereign enough to know what how your intuition is speaking to you, to know what it's saying, and then to be able to trust it externally, because that's where the rubber meets the road. And I just think personal sovereignty is so, so important to having a life that you actually love. So I just wanted to share that with you. And if you want to check out the Sovereign Spirit Bundle, this is what it's about.